Welcome to Blueprint Radio. I'm your host, Martin Williams. Here we help you create a blueprint for your life.
And welcome
so let's
to
build.
Blueprint Radio. My name is Martin Williams. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. You may do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and SoundCloud. All the links to the podcast can be found at guidedexpressions.com/podcast with an S, or wherever you're listening to this podcast right now. Today's topic is what will move the needle. So if you've been stuck in any area of your life, whether it's work or finances or your health, maybe you've been trying to lose some weight, maybe you've been trying to get a business off the ground, maybe your marriage is in a rut, whatever the case may be, you have to figure out what is the one thing that will move the needle. What's the one thing that will change where you are right now and get you moving in the right direction? There may be many things that you have to end up doing, but what's the one thing that's going to be a tipping point in moving you to where you want to be? So I think I've done a podcast on this before, but a couple of years ago, I decided to start walking. I had some health challenges. I had gotten far too heavy and I had to start basically shedding weight. And, I've been the type where I would try some of everything. I would go to, different gyms and, I'd look online and, you see all these different workouts and it's like, you can shred pounds in 30 days and, lose 100 pounds in 6 months and, all of these, basically fad workout plans and fad diets. And not to say that it doesn't work for some people, but for most people, especially if you're not someone who works out every day, it can be a little challenging and it can be something that is very hard to stick to. So I read a book some years ago and I remembered it. And it was a book written by, and I don't even remember the guy anymore, of who originally wrote the book, but several people who wrote about health, and it was around the early of 20th century, wrote about the effectiveness of walking every day. So this particular writer said that he worked with a man who was a police officer in New York City who needed to lose weight. And he prescribed basically for him to walk. And I think maybe even the man did it on his own volition, but I think he's just telling the story, if I'm being 100% accurate, basically to walk every day. So what he did was that he walked from 3 to 5 miles every single day without fail, right? And in the course of 6 months, he dropped 90 pounds. And he dropped 90 pounds without making too many alterations to his diet. Now, given the time period of when this was written, there was a lot less processed food. There was a lot. There wasn't such a thing as fast food. Fast food really came along in the mid 20th century. So this man was probably eating at home and probably eating better than most people eat these days, right? Because we all know that processed food can lead to obesity. We've seen the studies by now. Most of us have. What is my point here? All he did was walk, right? That one thing, that tipping point activity caused him to shed 90 pounds. Now, if you have 90 pounds to lose, right? Could you do that for 6 months? I think most of us could, right? Every single day, he walked 3 to 5 miles every single day. Now, in New York City, that's a challenge because, there aren't, and I'm guessing back then, it wasn't the most walkable city. And even now, it's not the most walkable city. I mean, you have sidewalks and everything, but, you gotta, negotiate taxis and Ubers and buses and, all these other things. My point is that he did it, right? And it was that one thing, that one tipping point thing that caused him to shed 90 pounds. That's a lot of weight, Remember the Subway guy? Obviously he's had some legal challenges and in his personal life, but before then, Jared, he basically walked every single day and ate 2 Subway sandwiches daily, and he went from 400 to I think 200 pounds, something like that. Like, it was just an unbelievable weight loss that a lot of people would think is not possible. But he did the simple thing. He just did the one thing, that one tipping point action. If you're stuck in life, what's the one thing that you could do to move things forward, right? What is your walking every day, right? Walking is easy, okay? That tipping point activity can be defined as something that's easy, that you can do daily, and will move you forward. Because it's easy to basically think about and plan and strategize, and some people will plan and strategize for years and not move forward. Nothing. Have no progress whatsoever because they're not taking the actions. Part of the problem is that we have so many options now. In this point in our history, we have so many options. There's so many things that we can do. There's so many paths that we can take. It's easy to get overwhelmed with all the choices. It's easy to get overwhelmed with all of the different paths. But what I'm asking you to do is to really look at your life and what is the one thing that I can do now? If it's business, what is the one product that I can start working on that within 30 days I can have it done and I can put it out into the market for people to buy? What is that one product that I can put out? What is that one service that I already know how to do that I can put out? And just focus in on that until you get some movement, until you can bring in some money, and then you can add more things, right? You can add more things. You can start stacking, right? And you can start adding to that one thing. But if you don't have that one thing identified and start working on it daily, then what happens? In 30, 60, 90 days, you're right back where you started. You're right back where you started and nothing's changed. So I'm challenging you to think about it. If it's a relationship issue, what is the one thing that you and your partner or you and your spouse can do to improve the relationship? Maybe it's just a conversation. Maybe it's just a conversation where there's no kids around. You wait till the kids go to bed, and it's just you two. What is and maybe that 15, 20-minute conversation can catapult the two of you on a road to a reconciliation, on the road to something better. But if you don't make that one change, that if you don't identify that one thing, the danger is that you stay stuck. And the more you stay stuck, the more frustrated you get, the more defeated you feel, the more dejected you feel, and ultimately you give up. And that's what happens with so many people. So many people give up on their dreams, they give up on their vision because they're not making any progress. But I'm telling you how to make it. I'm telling you what to do to make that progress, to move towards where you want to be. So thank you for listening to Blueprint Radio. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to Blueprint Radio. For more information on Martin Williams coaching and products, please go to guidedexpressions.com or visit me on Facebook as well as Instagram.